Is Trinidad and Tobago a real place? Are there any institutions or professions not corrupted by money or the Balasay juice? Are the majority of the lawyers in the Law Association of Trinidad and Tobago choosing selfish gain over the lifelong dignity and integrity of the profession? Did the Law Association, by their vote, put Trinidad and Tobago in a banana republic status? Join Anil Roberts tonight at 7:30 on douglAR Politics to hear the answers to these questions. Is Trinidad and Tobago a real place? Are there any institutions or professions not corrupted by money or the Balasay juice? Are the majority of the lawyers in the Law Association of Trinidad and Tobago choosing selfish gain over the lifelong dignity and integrity of the profession? Did the Law Association, by their vote, put Trinidad and Tobago in a banana republic status? Join Anil Roberts tonight at 7:30 on douglAR Politics to hear the answers to these questions.
douglAR Politics, this is douglAR Politics, yo. douglAR Politics, listen, douglAR Politics, yeah. douglAR Politics, this is douglAR Politics, yeah. douglAR Politics, this is douglAR Politics. douglAR Politics, this is douglAR Politics, yo.
Good evening and welcome to douglAR Politics. Now let's be clear. I have an entire show planned out for you all here. Look at all of all of this information, different topics, everything ready to roll across the board: food prices, economy, education, jobs, roads, lack of water, flooding, health sector, all of that in here, sport, culture, wasa, total. But something happened yesterday that I'm going to have to deal with carefully, clearly, holistically. Because yesterday could be the illustration of the darkness that has come over and set in stone in our beautiful Twin Island Republic. You see, you all may talk patriotic, you all may mouth it, you all may feel it sometimes. Unfortunately for me, I live it, breathe it, feel it, encapsulate it, love it, and have espoused the virtues of patriotism with sacrifice, personal sacrifice, financial sacrifice, family sacrifice, time sacrifice, all for the upliftment of my beloved country, Trinidad and Tobago. Whether it was as a swimmer in the national team from 9 years old to 17 years old, or a national footballer, or an Olympic national swimming coach from 1993 to 2016. So what happened yesterday with a vote at the Law Association of Trinidad and Tobago shows a clear picture, a movie in HD of where we've reached as a country and where we need to do some very deep soul searching. Even I believe now that we may be lost forever, and I am one that don't ever believe that. I believe you fight till the end, even if you're in a tennis match and you're down 2 sets to nothing, 5-love, and the person serving for the 3rd set, I would tell you, dig deep and win, play each ball by ball. But when I tell you now that I am worried for my country and the future of my country, I could tell you all of this may have to wait. All of this and all the videos and all the things I had to show you and prepared for you for douglAR Politics may have to wait. Yesterday, the Law Association of Trinidad and Tobago, and let me tell you, The intellectual capital of a country is very important. There are ways that countries move forward. Leadership politically, independent institutions, and the intellectual capital emanating from the universities, from the legal bodies, from the educational bodies, from the intelligence gathering, conversations, policy making, and maneuvering forward in a positive manner. All these things lead a country to success. Lawyers are some of the brightest, sharpest minds. The legal profession is one of the longest, most storied professions known to mankind. It's also based on some of the greatest principles, tenets of justice, equality, fairness, equity, debate, discussion, having an opportunity to be heard. Some of the greatest principles the legal profession is based on. Yet yesterday we saw a vote, and it was a very high voter turnout for these sort of events. It was about 200% higher than the norm. We saw a voter turnout of some nearly 600 lawyers coming out to vote. Very high turnout, which is good when people are getting involved in the process. But some of the results and the results that came out need a lot of analysis. The motion of no confidence in the sitting Attorney General Reginald Armour was defeated by some 300 plus votes to 240. It was defeated. The motion to recommend that Reginald Armour resign from the position of Attorney General was defeated. Now some may say, well, that's okay, it's democracy and so on. Let us understand clearly that of which we speak. And let me remind you of what we're speaking about. Because many issues, there can always be many sides and interpretations of different issues. But what cannot be debated is pure fact. And the facts are that the Attorney General, Reginald Armour, signed an affidavit under threat of perjury to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, to the best of your recollection, and sign your name by threat of perjury. He signed an affidavit flush with falsehoods. Falsehoods that cannot be deemed as mistakes. It's just unreasonable, irrational to think that. When one becomes a senior counsel, that is the epitome of the legal profession. It is like winning an Olympic gold medal. Do you think Hazley Crawford forgot that sunny day in Montreal, Canada, when he got down on his marks with 3 Americans, Harvey Glantz and others, with the defending boss-up, the Russian champion, one athlete from Panama, as he got down in lane 1 with his red and white socks pulled up above his calves, with his red, white, and black uniform? Do you think that Hazley Crawford could forget that day when he won Trinidad and Tobago its first ever gold medal? That is similar to an attorney becoming senior counsel. Reginald Armour lied in his affidavit, stating that he was junior counsel. He lied, saying that he took no real part and was a mere note taker. The evidence and the record that is clear shows that that was not true. And any attempt to try to compare it to the voluminous amount of submissions and witnesses that were presented in a case is asinine at best. So these are clear facts. The man lied. The profession, the legal profession, is governed by a code, a very serious, critical code of ethics. Reginald Armour breached, and I went through that with you all on a previous show, by my estimation, 16 clauses of that code of ethics, code of action, code that all lawyers sign on to when being called to the bar, the legal profession. Yet 300 lawyers and more saw it fit to say that even though the Attorney General lied on an affidavit, even though he lied several different times on the same affidavit, even though he took no steps to recant or to clarify the record, even though the proceedings went ahead and his affidavit was part of the proceedings, even though he was representing Trinidad and Tobago, our red, white, and black flag, as the titular head of the bar, the person who should uphold the law at a higher standard than anyone else. 300 lawyers, intelligent people, who had the wherewithal, the discipline, the intelligence, the ability, the mental fortitude to get through school in a successful manner, get into law school, pass those devastating exams, and then move on, called to the bar, and became attorneys. 300 of them said, that's okay. Even though the Attorney General, who at best, made some of the gravest errors, miscalculations, and stupid mistakes in the history of Trinidad and Tobago's jurisprudence, that they have confidence in a careless person. Let's put it at its lowest level. Let's say he did not intend. You cannot take your mind to say that he intended to lie, even though he went through in great detail, and you could see he made a pathway to downplay his interaction with the then clients. Why would he do that? When it's very simple. If you defended a client, end of story. Don't get involved in anything. From the time you see the file, oh, no, woof, woof, move that. End of. That's what should have happened. And every single lawyer who voted against the motion of no confidence knew that. They know that. Everyone who voted that they did not lack confidence in the Attorney General would not make the same mistake. I put it to you that in their collective careers, let's say 300 attorneys at an average of 7 years per attorney, some might be 25 years, some might be 2 years, that they have never signed, sealed, and delivered an affidavit about their personal involvement in any case involving also their qualifications and critical times in their lives. That was false. Yet they vote to show confidence in someone who's above them, who's done something that they would never do and have never done and will never dare do. So then you have to ask yourself the question, why? Why? Now keep in mind, if you all recall, when they fired Faris Al-Adans and they put this gentleman, I said, and I quote, at least the PNM have an intelligent attorney who has a track record, and maybe they will bring good law to the parliament now so we can debate. That was my position. He's a PNM, yes, so I don't like that. I don't like nothing with PNM. But that was my position. My mother, God rest her beautiful, brilliant, strong, amazing soul, mentored this gentleman day in, day out at her law firm while we did our homework before swimming practice. So I have nothing personal against this gentleman. In fact, I am shocked. I was shocked when these things played out. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't wrap my head around it. Yet the vote went. 300 attorneys said, we have confidence in that. And you, the people, must ask yourself why. And why am I saying you, the people? Because you're not attorneys, not all of you. But your country rots from the head. And if the most disciplined, the most intelligent, those who made it through law school, there's a reason why you pay lots of money to lawyers and surgeons and so on. Because it's difficult. You have to really have all the tenets and characteristics to get into these professions. It's not easy. And all of them who make it deserve respect. But when you have been through all of that and shown the discipline, the intelligence and the stick-to-itiveness to become an attorney, handle yourself well, carry yourself and serve your clients to the best of your ability and not lie on affidavit. What makes you go as a man or a woman, knowing full well, reading every word, knowing the transcripts, knowing the statements, knowing that Attorney General Amor lied on his affidavit, and you vote to say, no problem, that's just an error. I have confidence in him being the tippy top, the tip of the spear of the legal profession to make laws and guide the path of Trinidad and Tobago, my country. How do you do that? Why? Wayne Sturge says, today, every single person who spoke in support of Amor admitted their friendship with him. I can say without fear of contradiction that almost every single one of them received state briefs but didn't disclose that. By not voting in support of the motion to call for the resignation of the Attorney General, the membership of the Law Association has now lost the moral authority to pronounce on any issue which touches and concerns integrity and morality. The membership, by its vote, can no longer hold itself out as a paragon of virtue, but a microcosm of a morally depraved and corrupt failed state. This is not the profession of Carl Hudson Phillips or Frank Solomon. I salute the Canadian lawyer and the local Chinese Trinidadian lawyer. U.S. criminal lawyers will always have work. Now, leave that there. Wayne Sturge brings up a very valid point there. The reason I'm talking about the fish rotting from the head is our country has now signed, sealed, and delivered itself into the realm of acceptance that merit does not matter. That work ethic, discipline, brilliance, amazing track record, performance does not matter. Why am I saying this? Everyone gets briefs. So power was brought, pressure is brought to bear in enough numbers to take the reasonable man to an unreasonable position. The only explanation is seeing that the government is the number one employer of the legal fraternity, the number one in payment of fees to lawyers, the number one in the dissemination of legal briefs and jobs throughout the legal profession, that one can wonder how such an illogical decision was made vote by vote. But this is where it pains me, because it means that even you, the lawyers, the disciplined, intelligent, exam passing, amazing lawyers, lack the confidence in your own ability to get briefs fair and square because of performance. Soak it in. Soak it in clearly. Merit, and I come from a world of merit. Sport, that's why I love it. Except for the drug cheats, and they get what they're due to them. Sport, if you have the talent, your coach has the brain, you work together hard and you push yourselves and you eat and you sacrifice, the best get up to the top. And they win those medals and they merit the endorsements and the money and so on. Merit. You work hard, you win. That's what it's about. But the Law Association now, the best of the best, the creme de la creme of my beautiful country. You see, when you analyze the creme de la creme, it goes downhill from there. So if the creme de la creme is rotten at the top with sour milk, then we are lost. So what the Law Association showed us, that it's not about track record, it's not about number one in the class, it's not about exams and brilliant, it's not about fighting and advocacy and getting in there and working hard, doing pro bono cases and lifting your profile and showing your intelligence for reading briefs, analyzing, making arguments, research and so on. It's not about that. You have all capitulated to the P&M, which is, I don't care how bright you are. I don't care how disciplined you are. I don't care how hard you work. I don't care how many cases you won. If you want money, come lick my bamsi. Shame on each and every one of you. Shame on you, because your parents would have sacrificed so much for you to become lawyers. And what have you all become? Lick bamsi P&M Balize juice suckers. You say, Anil, why so harsh? I was in the belly of a lawyer. I was put in the womb by another lawyer. The two fellas who share that same womb with me at different times are lawyers. My son will be a lawyer next year. My sister is a lawyer. And I shame. All my life I held these people up. My mother is the godmother, well, she passed away, was the godmother of Russell Martino's son. Senior Counsel Russell Martino, who stood up yesterday to defend the indefensible at his old senior counsel age. Now, Russell Martino, I must mention your name, because Russell Martino, I could understand. Gilbert Peterson, pure politics, that's Rowley and Rice, right? Gilbert Peterson will make an argument with me that, Anil, it was okay, Rowley was a teacher and he had sex with a girl of school age, that's all right. He would make some argument for Rowley. And he would say, Anil, Rowley's my boy. He was a minister and they were building a hospital and material rolled from by the hospital to him, but yes, the breeze blow it. Gilbert Peterson is Rowley and Rice. He has become an oil bunker and an oil baron and didn't know that those bunkering licenses were so sought after and fought for by people in the oil and gas industry, but he got it as a senior counsel. So Gilbert Peterson, I expect that of him. Nothing more. AA coming, Rowley and Rice. They shut down Petrotrain. No, don't shut down Petrotrain. Nobody said shut down Petrotrain, but they shut it down. Rowley put him there. He ain't know nothing about oil and gas, but he know about evidence gathering and evidence disappearing. He know about those things because he's a classic attorney. He knows about building case and so on. He ain't know about oil and gas and pump like Victor Roberts and them and oil down and screw and go down so and pipe. So he ain't know about that. But when he's there now, all of a sudden an arbitration that a senior counsel said we must appeal, it ain't appeal and it's settled there. And a man dance and wine. They coming that is Rowley. That is Rowley and Rice. I expect that. Elton Prescott, poor fella. He and Camacho and them in the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee. He know I know he's PNM. Went to pretend he was an independent senator for a while, but all right, we expect that. Ravi Nanga, Wasserman, who we saw in the, trying to lie and defend Rowley when I grilled him in the Joint Select Committee just earlier this year before Shepherd was there, and then Ravi Nanga come to help Shepherd and now Shepherd get bust throat. I expect Ravi PNM Nanga was a chairman. Oh yes, Bali said that's okay. But Russell Martino, yes, I know he's a PNM. But you get brief both sides, and you over the years, you're kind of 60-40, 70-30, which is all right, because all your PNM rule, the roost, and you all, through diffusion, become Balize infected. But you're an elderly fella now. My father friend, my father will be 82. I think you might even be older than my father. And you come at this late stage in your life to come and defend the indefensible. Russell Martino, senior counsel. But then again, we have to question it, because when I was 17 years old, and as I said, my mother is the godmother of his son, and his son happened to be on the NGC board that was requesting indemnity because they do what Rowley and Smallpin say and pelt away 233 million down the drain in Atlantic Train 1, when all the information was that we're not going with that. Shell, everybody said, all the major shareholders said no. His son on that board. But Russell Martino, you became senior counsel. But this is why I tell you, the PNM must be removed from office, not for one term, but forever. Because no opposition has ever successfully kept the PNM out of power for 2 consecutive terms. And it's the government, the cabinet, who appoints senior counsel. I remember Russell Martino in 1987 fighting a case on behalf of my younger brother in swimming when the club that we were life members of tried to prevent him from training in the pool. And we cut lock and went in and so on. And this man was our attorney. And I am young and I'm sitting down there sitting down listening to the arguments. And my mother and them had to hear earful after I waste time listening to him arguing in 1987. I said, Mommy, Daddy, all you could have let me go and argue like that man didn't read all the brief, didn't understand the intricacies of the argument that we were making. And I vexed. My mother only said, okay, son, no, it's all right. Because she had a lot of respect. But come now, that's 1987. 35 years later, all that I said back then comes to fruition in the full glare of the entire population of Trinidad and Tobago. When your so-called best and your brightest can stand there with a straight face and make the most asinine arguments, illogical, based on whatever in their mind they need to protect. That's very sad, Russell Martino. Shame on you, sir. I ain't done there yet. I could move here. Now, the mere fact that friends and colleagues got up to defend the sitting Attorney General. Law Association, don't you find something is wrong with that? You all come from the profession that is based on fairness, equity, justice, impartiality, no apparent bias, and so on. So wouldn't it have been or followed your own principles to allow the same number of people for and against to make arguments for and against without any emotion or connection or conflict of interest or friendship or brief or partnership? Wouldn't that have made more sense? And you're the ones who are supposed to teach us, the normal people, how to ameliorate, how to arbitrate arguments, how to discuss rather than picking up gun and cutlass and fight with rock, how to get to the truth of a matter, how to determine the facts, and you're the ones who's supposed to lead us. So you are showing us, Law Association, truth irrelevant. Conflict of interest, that's fantastic. This is my boy. I love him. We had dinner yesterday. We went to the Bahamas. His wife loved my wife. They shop at Target. And we all go, oh my goodness, don't worry about that lie. He just lied there, but he's a good man. I love him 40 times. Me love him long time. Does that make sense to you, my people? Look at all the people who come to defend the man. Is he brethren them? That's good. You gotta be friends with him. No problem with that. But isn't this a matter of ethics? A matter of right and wrong? A matter of signing an affidavit? A matter of fact? Doesn't emotion and friendship cloud fact? So how is it the Law Association, whose code is so, they codify impartiality, they codify justice, they codify equity, and yet in a debate, all the man brethren and them come out to come and make an argument? I just don't understand it. Maybe I'm not intelligent enough to be in the lat.
If members of parliament raise things in parliament, it can appear as if they're interfering with the separation of powers. And that is why you have a law association. The law association is supposed to be a very powerful organization taking up the problems on legal issues and keeping the judicial arm of the state in check. The law association of the country is really should be a mouthpiece for the population if they have to take up anything which affects the administration of justice. So really and truly, this may be a time in the history where you need a very strong law association, but you also need a very strong legal profession. I'm going to say something now that it may be very controversial. Lawyers play a very important role in ensuring the rule of law is upheld, democracy is maintained. Lawyers supposed to be a kind of guardian of society, to take up important matters, to criticize the government of the day, and to be prepared to make sacrifices. And that is why in the olden days you had probably many more lawyers getting involved in activities. I remember when I was a younger lawyer, I went all over the country giving speeches, marching. I marched from Cedras to Port of Spain, all sorts of things. I see that the legal profession should be more proactive in protecting the public and in taking up the rights of the people.
Put up Candice Barrett Nahus there from a place. Young lawyer. I want you to read along with me. This is very serious and touches and gets to the crux of the matter. I'm hoping this is my last post about this. I woke up this morning trying to shake this feeling. A sort of profound sadness I cannot shake. I don't have high expectations of anything in this country, so I always expect a certain outcome. But as a relatively young attorney, 13 years at the bar, as opposed to those seniors who were called before I was born, I feel like the damage to the profession has been immeasurable. There is a stain we can't wash off, even if we tried. But clearly, it doesn't matter. Who cares about public perception or public confidence? I've always loved the law, loved being part of something that is supposed to be held in the highest esteem and not in a superficial, better than anyone else way, but in a hopeful, relatively unbiased, right thinking will prevail sort of way. This morning, I woke up thinking about how much the determination of what is right and what is wrong comes down to who you are and who your friends are. Senior attorneys who I had respected and thought to be principled, but who didn't see anything with what was done because how long they knew him. I'd be swimming in blissful ignorance if I didn't accept that the benefit of briefs was an influencing factor. But I'm sad for the part of me that still wanted to believe in the good. The young, idealistic Candace who loved the profession and respected this profession. I'm gutted for the young ones looking on, who like me want to work hard to change the world or impact the lives of those who need it. Because sometimes you want to believe in good in this twisted world. Up to recently, when I put on my robe and bands, I felt that familiar feeling of exhilaration and pride. The legal profession no longer feels to me like something to aspire towards. If it was ever noble or honorable, I do not see how anyone can truly hold their heads up high to be part of this. When people make lawyer jokes or talk about how lawyers are really liars, you can't disagree. What do we now truly represent and stand for? I'm truly ashamed of those I once held in high esteem. But I guess I'm just naive and still somewhat idealistic. Really haven't been paying attention and genuinely feel heartbroken. That epitomizes exactly the sentiment. And that sentiment must transcend down to the doublesman, to the garbage collector, to the CPEP worker, to the unemployed, to the differently abled, to those most in need. That sentiment must trickle down to every nook and cranny of our society. Why? You all have heard me say here on this show, time and time again, the one institution that I still truly believe, even 22 years later with the Piarco one, with the old white men in the Privy Council bringing truth and thwarting and bringing justice, the entire system, it might take long, it might move slowly, but the one place that I told you that I feel confident that any citizen could make an argument, be heard, and receive a fair judgment is the judiciary of Trinidad and Tobago. It's not perfect, don't get me wrong, especially on political cases you can see the taint of the PNM. However, on a preponderance of the evidence and a measuring of the probabilities, the only institution where a citizen could have felt that they could get a fair shake is the judiciary. after yesterday's vote, on the heels of the law lords at the Privy Council throwing out a case that was so warped and tainted by PNM for decades, and the lack of the police dealing with a former attorney general's misbehavior in public office. Now you add on a dictator, a hateful, vindictive dictator who warps and thwarts all lines of propriety and righteousness, correctness, corporate governance, and separation of powers. A man who invokes others in public office to misbehave, to thwart merit, to suppress citizens, to oppress those rights of all of us enshrined in the Constitution. You now see that that vote yesterday carries a greater significance than you can understand, because it now shows me that I can no longer make the argument that the judiciary going forward is the place where anyone can get a fair shake, because the Balizé juice is trickling deeper and deeper into the recesses of the legal profession. The judiciary's base is the legal profession, is law students. It is the lawyers who form the pyramid of justice in Trinidad and Tobago. And if the base is rotten, the top bell cannot ring. It will fall and crumble upon itself. Now you see why I have put aside all of this. Why Minister of Bundles has gotten a bly. Why the Shamfa Kujo has gotten a bly. Minister of Man, this boy, the picky head one who got 10,000 to serve his own constituents and draw double salary. All of this, small pin young gets a bly. Because this situation is very serious. So here you have lawyers in their numbers, 300, voting confidence in an attorney general who may be facing charges in a foreign jurisdiction involving perjury. And when I say perjury, let me tell you that in Florida, perjury carries a term, an official perjury in an official proceeding, up to 5 years in jail and a fine of $5,000 or both. 5 years in jail. Yet this man, who could be under investigation based on his own admission, his statements, his admission of falsehoods in a signed affidavit under threat of perjury by this man, who could be under investigation in the USA for perjury. I don't know, I'm not in Lincoln, I've not spoken to any authorities in the USA. But this man comes to the Parliament and the Senate to say to you, little black boy, who put him there, because you put the PNM there, because they told you, Kamala want to give you banana and she don't like black African, so put this there. He comes to tell you, no bail for you, keep your tail in jail, and the next Ponce de Rasta tells you, jail nice, it's air conditioned. This is who is telling you no bail, who gets his friends and colleagues and thanks them on a letterhead to come and say, well, he lied. It's a mistake, but nah, man, he's a good boy. He's in charge of the laws of Trinidad and Tobago. He's the legal advisor to the government. He is the protector of you, the people. By my analysis, his actions breach Part A of the Code of Ethics of the law profession. And you all 300 lawyers, go and read your own Code of Ethics for yourself, like you all forget about it. Part A, Sections 1, 2, 11, 12, 13, 44, 51, and 53. And Part B of the Code of Ethics of the Legal Profession, Part 2, 5, 7, 15, 35, 1, and 35, 2. And that man you all have confidence in. And that man has the arrogance to write on a letterhead thanking people and saying he is humbled. Were you humbled when you were in the Angostura function drinking champagne with Al-Rawi 4 days after the story broke, showing that you didn't care less about what you had done to embarrass this nation? You are a total disgrace. You're a clown. Let me tell you something. Attorneys General have resigned in the Commonwealth. I didn't want to give you all, so many, but I did some research for you all. And I'm just going to put up one or tell you about one or two, just to make it interesting. Do you know an Attorney General, Edmund Jennings Randolph, in the USA, right? Commonwealth of Virginia also. I use this one because of the date. 1753, right, to 1813. Edmund Jennings Randolph succeeded Thomas Jefferson as Secretary of State on January 12, 1794. Like Jefferson, Randolph resigned from office. Randolph departed on August 20th, 1795, following a struggle to maintain a policy of neutrality in the war between Great Britain and revolutionary France. Accusations of corruption by the Federalists in President George Washington's cabinet, right? Now let me tell you something. This man was innocent. No evidence whatsoever. But just by the lies and the accusations, he decided to remove himself to protect the office, Secretary of State and Attorney General, in 1795. Why did I say 1795? Slavery was not abolished till when was slavery abolished in the US? 1845 or something. Double check that date, right? So while this man is in a government promoting, encouraging, espousing, benefiting, profiting from slavery, the most dastardly, inhumane act ever perpetrated on other human beings, he have more class and caliber than Reggie Armour. He has more character and morals and ethics than Reginald Armour. This is a man who was in government during slavery. Elliot Richardson, another one, was the U.S. Attorney General during the Watergate period with Nixon. Nixon ordered him to fire the special counsel, Archibald Cox, right? He resigned rather than take that immoral instruction from his president. But this Attorney General and others in the cabinet and all of you law association who had nothing to say sat there while Keith Christopher Rowley went to the President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago to thwart a merit list that he got inside information had arrived. It arrived and the President then invoked another public official to misbehave in public office to withdraw that list instead of having it proceed under section 123(4) of the Constitution to the Parliament. Anybody resign? Any law association say anything? Then you wonder why our country's in a mess. And you all are all shocked that bullet flying left, right, and center, South Key, Left Key, Upstate, Mova, Matlot, Labre, Sangre Grande, Couva, Charlieville, Carpetchima. You all are shocked. Jonathan Jones resigned as Solicitor General in the UK because the Prime Minister wanted to renege. Boris Johnson wanted to renege on parts of the Brexit withdrawal agreement. Resign. Do not covet office and call colleagues to support and hold on and hang on. It's a high principle. You now have a scumbucket who has signed and lied on an affidavit and is boasting that he has the confidence of his colleagues in the law profession, and that is what you are. You are now the latrine of Trinidad and Tobago. Useless. The Law Association of Trinidad and Tobago. The latrine of Trinidad and Tobago. And the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of the UK, resigned. Why? Because he made laws for COVID regulations, and breached them and went and party. This man spread COVID all over. Franklin Can dead. He spread to 35 people. Bounced on a woman in golf cart. Touched Gatorade from the COVID and went Scotland to talk to nobody and jump on a plane and went. This man who breached everything, his people, Attorney General with mask, without mask, in mask, inside mask, he outside, drinking on the ground, outside and saying, well, boy, look, I have a drink here. This one, he's still there. But this one gone. Because he also appointed a man who liked to grab other men. Well, how much of them he appoints so? You want me to start to come? Minister man, don't quirk. And this one's still there. And he's saying, oh, he's a little worried for this one. We are all worried about our country, that this remains, this dark stain after eating plum and prune same time with châtaigne stains on our flag. And you all sit there quietly, and Law Association, you all 300 vote because you're looking for brief. You have no shame whatsoever. $300. There was a movie, Archie, called 300. Move these two clowns while I talk about Spartans. There was a movie called 300. Where warriors of high morality, ethics, loyalty, togetherness, and teamwork, protecting their lands and their families, their farmlands, from the marauding, thieving hordes that were coming by the thousands. 300 of them stood and fought valiantly for an inordinate amount of time. Well, now we have the 300 lat. Disgraceful, eat our food, no cojones, spineless worms, unpatriotic, selfish neophytes. That's the Law Association and its membership. You might find I'm harsh, but my mother taught me, to whom much is given, much is expected. While you may not agree that anything was given to you, you worked hard to become, yes, but you worked hard to become lawyers, to be called to the bar. You signed your code of ethics and your professional code of conduct, and then you go to vote confidence in a man who broke the basic principle of truth, of honesty, of integrity, of morality. How do you justify that? Please, I want to hear. Don't come and tell me. I'm listening to everybody. Don't come and tell me, oh, he's a good boy. I know him a long time. I'm sure the 8 police who now charge from 2018, when we watched the video with the fellas in the gold wet man teeter and they hand up, and I tell you earlier, but if the man in the back had something in a bag, how come all 3 dead? You don't miss a target by 2 foot when you're standing up over them and have cover. Remember I went through all that? I asked you all what they was picking up off the ground, and Stuart Smallpin and the PNM say, them black boys across the country, them don't know how to revolt, them don't know how to riot, them can't be vexed, they don't understand nothing. Is the UNC pay them to protest? You all remember that? Well, let me tell you something. One must understand why this is so painful, for me especially. Because I must say that I have held lawyers in such high esteem because of the way we grew up. We didn't grow up with choices. You could be an accountant, a teacher, a professor, a businessman. Well, you could be a businessman also, a doctor. All we know is study hard, be bright, you have to get into law school. End of story. Select subjects on the path to law. End of story. No discussion. Never was a need for discussion. Willingly, ably, moving along. Looking and seeing and learning Carl Hudson Phillips, Solomon, even Russell Martino, Ewart Thorne, Alan Alexander, others, attorneys all around, brilliance. And to see what the Law Association did yesterday, it boggles the mind. Because you're supposed to, through your studies, not only get knowledge, you're supposed to develop some sort of character, some sort of principle to stand by. That's why I love sport, and I thank my parents for putting me in sport, you know, because it teaches you something that is a little different. I'll give you a few stories to let you know, because you all may not know. You all may just say, boy, Anil just vex and PNM. Let me tell you a few stories throughout my life. 1987, I had gone, tried to make the national football team. I make the last 22. The squad was 18. I get cut between 22 to 18. So I jump back in the pool and I say, all right, let me try to swim again, get fit, try and make the national team. I make the national team in the short course championships. Just before the trials, I make the national team to go to Carifta in Jamaica. I say, what nice excitement and so on. Deadline passed. I'm on the national team to represent my country swimming. 11 days later, they had the national short course championships at Flying Fish Pool in Federation Park. And a fella from the east called Lawrence Albada, who I had beaten 11 days before. They missed his taper, so he tapered down and he rests nice. He put a curtail on me left, right and center, every event. Bad licks. I was wondering what happened, but you see licks. I went to the president at that time of the Swimming Association and I said, sir, I'm withdrawing myself from that national team to put Lawrence Albada there because he deserves to go. The president told me, well, the deadline is gone, so it had to remain so. I said, you're not listening to me. I said, you will write and request an extension and so on whatever basis. But he is going and I am not. And so said, so done. He went. Do you think that sort of characteristic, that sort of decision making was espoused and illustrated yesterday in that vote amongst the best, our brightest, our shining lights in Trinidad and Tobago? Did you see a bit of that or did you not see that? And therefore, we are poisoned from the top coming down. Another story. From all my swimming days, all of us used to go and just get licks. 23 of us went San Cristobal, Venezuela, 1979 for the CCCAN Championships, and we only had to share one gold medal. Randy Atin won the 100 freestyle in 53.16 seconds. All the rest are we only licks. Cuba, Venezuela, Mexico, Dominican Republic, licks like fire, licks like peas. So when I decide, when I'm coaching now, I say, nah man, me and I taking all that licks. So my first CCCAN Championships as a coach in 1993, I was coaching a young lady called Sangeeta Puri. And we went to Cuba and we were there. Her first event was 100 meters butterfly. She went out supremely beautifully and was clear out in front. At 50 meters, I looked up at the scoreboard and I noticed her scorepad, her touchpad was malfunctioning because it did not have a split time. I had it on my stopwatch. It didn't come up there. She came back down, boom, win celebration, gold medal by 3 body lengths, 105, 3900 fly, 13 to 14. Next thing I see a commotion, Cuban coaches trying to say, because when she touched, her time didn't come up. The Cuban girl who came second came up as first. I knew the thing had worked, so me worried. Next thing I see, I hear noise, and in my broken Spanish I go, and the Cuban coaches are trying to say that they won gold. Now them just see the same race everybody see, and see my girl beat them girl by 3 body lengths. It's nothing, you can't miss it, okay? It was licks all the way back. And I was in total shock and could not believe. I was speechless for about 4 seconds, then I start. But luckily, there's something called backup timing on the electronic system, and it had Sangeeta's time in red, and it was there. But the mere fact that people could try to cheat like that, I could not understand it. But now I'm beginning to understand that it is more normal. Because from the vote yesterday, it is clear that a lot of citizens, a lot of people, no matter how intelligent, are like those Cuban coaches. They don't believe in merit. You want to take anything, you don't deserve it, take it. You take it, yeah, come on, give it, you stay there, give me more thing. That is a sickness. What is wrong with merit? Competition is great. I remember my big daughter, who now going to be 25, she was playing tennis, her first little tennis tournament on Tranquility Courts, way back. I think she was like 10 years old. And she is one tough little cookie. And next thing I stand up upstairs, they talking and chatting, and matches start. And next thing I look, I see in my little daughter going, I said, but what madness is this? This child don't cry. So I gone down. I didn't want to go because I don't know, you're not supposed to coach and thing, but I want to know what my daughter crying for. I said, Becky, what happened? Daddy, she cheated. And I just rocked my head back, because I had forgotten to teach my daughter that some people cheat. So she was here playing a tennis tournament and got her first experience with cheating, meaning the ball in, the girl saying it out. The ball out, the girl saying it in. But I couldn't coach, I couldn't do nothing. I said, look at me, I just watch her. Look at your papa in the eye, look at me. She watched me. I said, she is cheating? Well, beat her. She beat her for love, all right? But that is just to show you that certain things are never on your mind, but yet the reality slaps you in the face. Yesterday, the Law Association and the lawyers, the 300, slapped the entire country in the face. You all may not know. I'll leave that story for last. 2 more stories. I had an athlete. I'm giving you these stories to let you know how sickened I am by the 300, because you cannot tell me you voted because lying is okay. You can't say it's not possible, it's not logical, it's not real. You voted for something else because signing an affidavit, you are all lawyers. Lawyers are taught, read everything, double check, triple check, don't ever sign nothing until you're checked up. But oh Lord, the worst thing in a lawyer office is paper, because there's waste paper. Look that up, a mistake, move that, change that, check that. No, I'm not signing that. Look at this, double check the date, because if you sign it, that's it. That's, Lord, that's the legal profession. So you can't tell me that 300 lawyers now say the basic tenets and skeleton of our very existence we don't agree with. We have confidence in the titular head of the bar being a careless idiot. At best, he could be a malicious liar too. But let's take it at what he say. Careless, okay? And you all have confidence at your highest level in the careless one. I just don't, you see how it's illogical? So it had to be something else. I was coaching again, this was about 1995, 94, 95, Carifta. I had a girl who went to Carifta and won 11 gold medals. Whap, 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 11. When we returned home, I told her to find a new coach. You're wondering, but why? Because the gold medal is not everything. Every time that child went to swim, to race, I said, listen, you are superior to your competition. I am not interested in you just winning. I want you to do your best. Listen to the strategy. Take out the races hard. Hit your turns. Come back. Let me see where the lactic acid hits. Let me see how you tighten up, how your stroke changes as you're finishing. Give me the effort. And 11 times I said that, and 11 times this child just went, play the fool, and gallery on the competition because she was better than them. I told her, that's not, if that's what I taught you, I can't continue to teach you, because that making fun and having fun with competition, that's not how we roll. So I'm just showing you why it pains me so much to understand that these intelligent lawyers did that. This is not a joke. This is sickening. And it is a sickness that will envelop and has enveloped the entire country. And that's why our children are lost. That's why the fights all over the place. That's why SCA results are worse in history. CSEC worse in history. University enrollment down. These are all interlinked, and it starts with leadership. Politics is not a game. Final story. My family and myself swimming and dreaming, all those athletes, all the Olympians, 8 different world ranked top 100 swimmers that I created. We never had a home base. We always like nomads, training here, Center of Excellence there, McIntyre Street, Jumbo Gym, get by Blue Dolphins pool, go down here, go down in Chagaramas, all over the place, no home base. Always wanted to build and construct a pool. But John Rahal and Keith Rowley said over the dead body, Roberts would build that pool, that facility there in Powder Magazine for children to swim, because that, Rahal said, and I quote, that land is too valuable for that. It's still fighting and we're still moving on. But I then became Minister of Sport, didn't I? I'd been fighting for 22 years before that to build the aquatic center there for the children, for my club, family club, to unearth talent, to give opportunities for the community, for everybody, for the country. Did I use my position as the Minister of Sport to construct it? To take your taxpayers' dollars to build it? No, because before I swore in to be the minister, I had to know that once I accept that position, it would be inappropriate, improper, and wrong. Never mind the value and the benefit to the community and so on. But because of my conflict, because I am involved, it would be wrong to build it. But we come out of government, and an attorney general sits down and rents out his own building, Franco Men. Takes also 38 million to outfit the building that was not fit for purpose. Makes people move out of another building that was fit for purpose and move into his building and still collecting rent there. And you all say that's okay. And yesterday now, the legal profession has joined the cesspit of PNM conflict, recusal, nepotism, and corruption. That vote yesterday was corrupt. And it is sad. And they are celebrating. The Attorney General is writing on your letterhead celebratory congratulations, press releases, thanking people for the confidence shown in him. We are the laughing stock. And just as I go, let me tell you something. This is what the Guardian newspaper does. Archie, if you could zoom in, please zoom in. After all that I have said and explained, the Guardian newspaper, a national newspaper, knowing full well the full facts of the matter, knowing and having read and understood the code of ethics and responsible conduct of the legal profession, understanding the seriousness of an affidavit, knowing that the information was false, knowing that this man put his signature on that, know that he put that in a court of foreign jurisdiction. The Guardian newspaper prints Armour strong, celebrating a man who could be investigated and charged in the USA for perjury, a man who admitted to lying on an affidavit. Armour strong. Pull back the Archie. That's what they print. Promoting, supporting, espousing this nasty, disgusting, disrespectful, nonsensical, careless at best behavior, rather than saying, shame, Law Association, resign Armour now. They come out to say Armour strong. I want that to soak in, And the boss moves against AG, defeated. Motion to resign against. No confidence motion, defeated against. He is humbled and grateful by the majority outcome. The Guardian continues. Lawyers give Armour vote of confidence. This is what the media does, really. A vote of confidence. And then they put here, Armour humbled by positive result. There is nothing more corrupt than a biased media whose inability to seek the truth and present information to the nation creates a situation where evil and incompetence pervades. Where are our Calypsonians? I see Miss Nyala Maraj write one day, it's a brilliant one. Where are my Calypsonians? You can't sing because it's a PNM. The ghost of Joe Newell Williams still pervades the society. All our pens have run out of ink. As we live in a country where there is not even multi-symptom Panadol and Painol, where there is no nasal spray in this country in any pharmacy, we are on the verge of total, complete collapse. And then the Express puts Armour off the hook. Really? The Law Association had no power to do anything anyway, so what hook was he on? And what hook is he off? Did he not sign a false affidavit in the Florida jurisdiction? Does Florida still have the law of perjury that when you lie on an official proceedings, you could receive a judgment against, if found guilty, of up to 5 years in prison? Is he off that hook? What hook is he off? He's off what hook? He's just on to move on to hand out briefs and reward those and move along with Balizé House. As we talk about Balizé House, this is where our country has reached, Archie. Where this edifice of corruption, poor corporate governance, lack of transparency, accountability, pure unadulterated corruption could go on right in front of your face. And no one cares. No one asks a question. Not the media, not the Express, Guardian, Newsday, no one. Not CNC3, not TV6. No mass media will ask a question. Where's the money coming from? Who's paying? How are you paying? From what account are you paying PNM? What Balizé account? No FIU, no special branch, no consultants, no contractors, no joint consultative council, nobody asking any questions as this Balizé House rises up to the sky. Where the material coming from? How many different contractors have dropped off material there? Who are the architects? Who are the consultants? How much is it costing? Where's the money coming from? Where's the general counsel? Which account? Which treasurer? Is the treasurer of the PNM paying checks? Where did they buy the material? And from which hardware? None of these questions. Right in your face. Look at it good. Archie will have it running up there. Look at it good. The PNM General Counsel don't care. The PNM Treasurer don't care, because where the bills? Where the bills for the steel, for the roof, for the concrete, for the foundation, for the contractors? Who are the workers? I see Ambassador Venezuelan was up there talking a set of Spanish the other day. What's the cost? You have that one. Has it taken over land from Tranquility Government School? So the old Balize house refurbishing too, and this one, how many stories gone down below? $100 million worth of construction. Who's the contractor? I pass here frequently, and I've seen different contractors daily just coming in. Is this the PNM Balize landed? Is it? What is the lease say? Can this old Balize house exist with the new structure, or does the lease say that there's only one building per plot of land? So everything crumble, but Balize house and the PNM rising. Well, you go ahead, vote race. And that's what's allowed to go on when all institutions and all good people, their brains get thwarted because of Balize juice, because of corruption, because of desire to win contracts or to be rewarded contracts, because winning is not important anymore, merit is not important. Where are the questions? Who are asking the questions? All you answer the questions. And when you ask about land date, Rowley come to gallery on a report about land date. Rowley, you did not get off no land date. Monica Barnes, our integrity commissioner, made an error in not notifying you about the investigation report and final report which was going to the DPP, and therefore it was quashed based on that technicality. And since then the police have refused to restart the land date investigation, but there was lots of information so great, so vast, that the Integrity Commission thought it sufficiently potent to send it to the DPP. So you come to gallery because of a technicality, Rowley? Well, Rowley, what was land date? Land date was what? Gravel and material and so on rolling from a hospital government project to somewhere by you, Rowley. Well, what material is going up in Balize House? Where's that coming from? Where the steel, the concrete, the gravel, the sand? Where? Which contractor? Who's the consultant? Who's the architect? Where the bills? Who paid them? Where the receipts? From what Balize account? From what PNM account? We saw the raffle that did not sell. Rowley was by PriceMart with Fisher Lines for 3 hours and sell 4 tickets. Is that the money? Is that equivalent to 120 million and counting? Where's the value? Where are you getting the money from? Right in your face. That's where we reach, because right in your face an attorney general could lie on an affidavit and get 300 strong to tell him we love you, so we take good care of you. Good night.
For the nation, for the children, yeah. We're getting it done in the fires of hope and prayer. Together as one, there is no load we cannot bear. And I see the light at the end of the rainbow. And I see the bright blue skies. Tomorrow has come and the change has begun. Yes, we're moving, yes, we're moving. Here we come, hey. Getting it done. Well, let me tell you something. Forward is how we moving, so never stop believing. We getting it done. A new country we building. This country first we choosing, and every day we proving. don't know there was teeth in. They cannot tell we nothing. Red is how we roll it. It's